What's up, everybody? Here's the 411, folks. I've made the decision to start holding back one Remember the Game episode per month. I'm not holding it back to put it behind a paywall or anything. I'm just basically skipping 1 week every month, preferably the first Wednesday of every new calendar page. And the simple fact is I'm struggling to play through a game a week for the podcast, and I don't want the quality of this show to get any worse than it already is. So we're planning to review Beautiful Joe. It is coming, but it will be next week's episode of Remember the Game. In the meantime, I'll be releasing an episode from our Patreon archives here on the main feed for Remember the Game on the first Wednesday of every single month. And I know this is technically the second Wednesday of the month, blame the aliens. Now, in addition to that, I'm going to start releasing the occasional episode of Purple Monkey Dishwasher, The Rambling Idiot, or Game Patch here on the main Remember the Game feed as well. Those are our other Patreon exclusive shows. My thoughts are twofold. A, it buys me time to play through more titles for Remember the Game, and two, it gives you all a better idea of the podcasts waiting for you over on Patreon. We have over 600 episodes over there now across our 4 Patreon shows, with new episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. They're all 100% ad-free, and you can listen to them on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you enjoyed this freebie and you want more of these, subscriptions start at just $3 a month at patreon.com/rememberthegame. And, I can't read what I wrote in my notes here. It doesn't matter. Anyways, this week it is Expansion Pass number 178, and it's my spoiler-free Sea of Stars review that originally went live last September. If you have not played Sea of Stars and you like retro RPGs, Chrono Trigger in particular, or even just like good video games, you are missing out. This is an absolute gem, and I am hoping that this podcast convinces a few more of you to play Sea of Stars because it is so fucking good. My God. Thank you for listening to the show. I hope you understand with the one missing Remember the Game each month. I think it's going to, long term, it's going to improve the quality of the podcast. And most importantly, I hope you all enjoyed this free episode of Expansion Pass. Let's go. The music in this game is so good. The music in this game is so everything about this game is so good. Spoiler, this is going to be an incredibly positive review, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 178th edition of Remember the Game Expansion Pass. It is one of our Patreon exclusive weekly podcasts here at Remember the Game. My name is Adam Blank, and if you're hearing this, watching this, or checking this out live on a stream, you support us on the old Patreon box. And if that is the case, from the bottom of my Benadryl-fueled, allergy-clogged, frustrated as fuck heart, thank you for the support. I appreciate it. I'm going to warn you all right now. I have no idea where the fuck my allergies came from, but they're at me with a vengeance right now. And it's just, if you've got allergies, you know what I'm saying. They're not going to kill me. It's not life-threatening. It's probably not even something to bitch about, but it is just such a non-stop nuisance. My nose is on fire, and my head is all plugged up, and I just want to like lift my top of my head off and just let all the steam out, and it's just, God, fuck. Anyways, this week, very positive episode. I got it out of my system. Thank you. If I sound wheezy, that's what it is. Because once my allergies kick in, my asthma kicks in. So I can't breathe, and it adds to it. Anyways, it's another one of my patented out-of-this-world space-age moon modern game reviews, and it's another RPG review. What the fuck? Last week, we talked Final Fantasy 16, and this week, we're talking Sea of Stars, the indie gem from Canadian game developers Sabotage Studios. Oh, Canada. They're the ones that made The Messenger, which is awesome, by the way. You should play it. There's a review of it in the Expansion Pass archives. It's a very Ninja Gaiden-esque game, and it's fucking dope. I love that game. And this is a straight-up RPG, JRPG. Very, very Chrono Trigger inspired. It's You could almost argue they right-click saved as some parts of Chrono Trigger and made them into Sea of Stars, but that's fine. First of all, I love it when studios stretch their creative wings like this and they try to make games across multiple genres, especially when their games all turn out outstanding, because I love The Messenger, and I think I like Sea of Stars even better. It is so good, and it is a finalist. As of now, it would be a top 3 finalist for my game of the year. As of now. We'll see when I'm done the rest of the games that are coming out in this loaded year, but just my absolute surprise of 2023 has been Sea of Stars. I thought it looked cool. Never imagined I would like it as much as I have. Fuck, it's good. As always, excuse me. As always, I will keep the review portion of the show spoiler-free, so you're good to listen for the next while. And then I will share some thoughts on the story and some of the characters and stuff in a short spoiler cast at the end of the episode. But don't worry, I'll warn you before the spoilers start like 10 times. I'll play some music. You'll have all kinds of opportunities to bail if you don't want anything ruined, all right? And as always, I'll sneak a few of your comments in as well. We had a lot of comments this week, but most of them were just writing in. I don't think a single person wrote in being like, this game sucks. Everybody was just writing in either saying, should I play this, or saying, I love this game, which is really nice. I just can't read every, like, this game is awesome comment, but I'm going to get a bunch of them in there. So, great game, contender for Game of the Year, in my opinion. I cannot wait to get into this review, and we'll get to it in just a couple of minutes, because as you know, part of your Patreon perk is a peek past the podcast. So if you want to cook up some food, take a nap by the fire, and fire up, maybe play a game of Wheels. I'll tell you what's been going on around here over the last week or so. And I don't really have that much to tell you guys. I'm really, like, I know I've said that for the last few weeks, but, like, God, I'm stuffed up. That's what's going on behind the scenes. Is I'm fucking a walking phlegm factory. I'm starting to sound like DSP over here. That's my fucking problem. I want to say I'm sorry for the lack of Twitch streams. I know I haven't been on there as much lately. I just haven't had any time. My brother got married this past weekend. We were busy there. And then this week, we had a podcast Monday night. We were supposed to have one Tuesday night. That got bumped to tonight, which is Wednesday night. Thursday night, I have a comedy show. Friday night, Shaylee gets home from being out of town for work all week, so I don't know if I'll stream. Probably kind of want to hang out with her. I have plans on Saturday, and I don't really want to stream against Sunday Night Football. So I'm trying. Oh, yeah, and we have a podcast to record on Saturday, too. We're recording the Sonic 3 Sonic and Knuckles episode for next week's Remember the Game. So I haven't forgotten about Twitch. It just, when my schedule gets busy, it kind of gets knocked down the priority list, as it were. You know what I'm saying? But on the note of streaming, I have some good news. Sorry, I'm going to have to pause for drinks of water here today. On the note of streaming, I have some good news. I would say it's probably better than 50% at this point, that this year's 24-hour stream, our 4th annual 24-hour stream, will take place the weekend of November 4th and 5th. I'm going to give it another couple of weeks, probably till the end of September, to see if I get offered any comedy bookings for that weekend. But otherwise, I really don't have another weekend after that open until Christmas. I'm not going to do it at Christmas. So it's pretty well the time it's going to have to happen. If you didn't know, in the last 3 years, I've streamed for 24 straight hours. I am going to split it up this year and do 2 12s instead. I don't have it in me anymore. But I don't know if it's going to be Friday and Saturday or Saturday and Sunday. I'm kind of tempted to go Friday, Saturday, because I know a lot of people want to watch football on Sunday. But I could also do it Saturday, Sunday, and keep an eye on football while we're doing. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So I'll let you all know in the next couple of weeks. But it's every day that goes by that I haven't been offered a booking for that weekend adds to likeliness that the 24-hour stream will go down November 4th and 5th. 3rd to 5th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometime in that little window span. So there you go. The backlog continues to shrink. We knocked Silent Hill out, Patreon poll winner this week. Next week, it'll be Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles as a revisited episode. That leaves me 2 Patreon poll winners, Wario Land 4 and Devil May Cry, and 5 sponsored episodes, Star Wars Jedi Academy, Mega Man Legends, Burnout Revenge, Star Wars Shadow of the Empire, and Lufia 2, I don't know how to say it. Really hoping to have that emptied out by the end of the year. So, and I'm also trying to balance that with new games, right? I finished Final Fantasy 16. I just finished Sea of Stars. I've started Starfield now. Gotta say, because I got a lot of feedback on social media. I posted on Twitter last night that I'm about 5 hours into Starfield, and I fucking don't like it so far. And before you write in, I had so many people messaging me. I'm not quitting it. I'm not walking away yet. It's just early on. It's boring. I've had like, I don't want to spoil anything, but like in the first couple of hours, you'll have this one like big kind of, you go into this like warehouse factory thing and there's some fighting and it's part of a mission. Love that part. That's what I was looking for. But other than that, it's just been like fast traveling and talking. And the talking really doesn't interest me, and the fast traveling sucks. I think flying the spaceship sucks. I'm not enjoying it at all. So I'm really hoping it gets good. Some people have messaged me and said stick with the main story. Some people have messaged me and said stick with the side stories. I'm just going to keep farting around and until it either grabs me by the balls or I say I've had enough of this and I kick it to the curb. One of those two things is going to happen. But early and yes, I've played Fallout 3. I've played Fallout 4. I've played Skyrim. I like them all to various degrees. Fallout 3 is still my favorite. And I just am not getting those vibes from this game. It feels like a Bethesda game, but there hasn't been any like, oh my God, I'm walking here on this planet, but over there's a cool cave. I'm going to go in there and look around like in Skyrim. And I'm not getting like, oh man, I'm going to go into this building and talk to this person and get this mission. And then I go to here to do this mission. Maybe it's coming. I really fucking hope it is. I'm just saying, about 5 hours in, not impressed. But I'll give it a lot more time before I write it off. Like I plan to play it pretty regularly between now and October 20th when Spider-Man and Mario drop. So I'm hoping it's got me by the balls by then. But anyway, so if you're wondering if a Starfield episode of Expansion Pass is coming, it is, assuming that I make it through it and don't quit. We'll find out. So there you go. But you know what game I didn't quit at all was Sea of Stars because it was spectacular. That's why you're here. It's time to talk about why this game is so fucking good. I am going to cue up some music. And when it stops, I will drop my spoiler-free review of the Sea of Stars. I'm out of it. I'm fucking tired. Shut up. Enjoy the music. It's funny because I'm in an irritated mood today. I'm groggy and I'm not sleeping well. I'm tired. But then I listen to the music from this game and I'm like, never mind. Everything's good. I love the music. I love the music. Wait till we get to the boss theme. That's the music I'm going to play before the spoilers. And you know what? I don't even give a fuck. It's my show. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'll give you a sample of it. I'll give you a sample right now. Just check this out. Just a quick sample. I'll fire that back up when we get to the spoilers section, but just fucking expect to hear that song on the show many, many, many times over. That one's getting a spot in the rotation. Fuck, that's a banger. So if you've never listened to one of these modern game reviews before, I'm pretty anal about keeping my reviews spoiler free. I will add a spoiler cast on at the end, but you're good for the next 30 minutes, 40 minutes, however long this takes me. I won't ruin anything for you. I promise. Okay. Anything I talk about, it will be stuff that happens in the first like hour or two of the game or just general stuff like the combat and things. Okay. So you're safe. Don't worry about it. Like I did with Final Fantasy 16, I'll start this off. I just talk about my general thoughts when it comes to the game. I loved it. I love this video game. It is absolutely easily cracked my top 100 games of all time. Probably into my top 50 games of all time, probably has cracked my top 10 RPGs of all time. It is just so good. And you know what's wild about how much I enjoy Sea of Stars is that it is very, very Chrono Trigger. And I've only ever played through Chrono Trigger once, and I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. And if you've heard we will revisit it on Remember the Game eventually. That's an old episode of Remember the Game. Chrono Trigger, where I talked about how I don't know what it was about it. It just didn't hook me. But as soon as I fired this one up, I saw there's so much Chrono Trigger influence in it. The combat plays out a lot like Chrono Trigger. The overworld maps look exactly like Chrono Trigger. There's combinations between various members of your team, like in Chrono Trigger. Clearly there are some Chrono Trigger fans at Sabotage Studios, and it has me wondering how I'm gonna feel about Chrono Trigger when I get around to replaying it. Because if Chrono Trigger hits like this game did, then I don't know why it didn't work for me the first time, but it sure as fuck is going to the next time. I will see, because this game is awesome. So on that note, if you are a fan of Chrono Trigger, for the love of fuck, play Sea of Stars. This is a must play for you. I promise. Jake Carter, wrote in and said, in the documentary on YouTube about the development of Sea of Stars, Sabotage had mentioned designing this game to be what our rose-colored glasses remembered of the classics and not what they actually are. I'd say they succeeded and then some. I haven't had this much enjoyment in an RPG for years. Sea of Stars is wonderful for all fans of the is a wonder for all fans of the classic RPG genre to witness. I did not know that. That's interesting. That there was a documentary about the development of this game, and they said in that documentary, because that's funny, because that happens, right? I'm sure that's happened to most of you. You've got rose, you put on the rose-colored nostalgia glasses, and you remember a game from your childhood, and you're like, I fucking love that game. And then you go back and play it, and maybe it doesn't suck, but it's not quite as magnificent as you remember it being. That's very interesting that they specifically pointed that out and were like, we want this game to play like you remember them being and not like they actually are. That fascinates me very much. Well done. Oh my God. Dude, I've reached out to Sabotage Studios because they're Canadian, and I reached out about having them on the podcast, and no responses yet, but I'll try them again, because between the Messenger and this game, I want to talk to them. I love it. Speaking of the Messenger, I should point out, yes, Sea of Stars is loosely connected to the Messenger, but in no way do you have to have played the Messenger to play this. They're very loose connections. In fact, my only real complaint about Sea of Stars, if we're getting the negative out of the way now, my only real complaint about this game was I was expecting a little bit more as far as the connections and references to the Messenger than what we actually got. There's a couple of like little nods to it. There's a couple of songs that kick in that sound like remix songs from the Messenger, which is one of the best soundtracks ever. And I was like, oh shit, there it is. Here it comes. But it really very vague references. Like I can't get any more into it to spoil it. But if you've not played The Messenger, don't worry about it. You're not missing anything. And if you're only playing this because you think it's a prequel or is it tied to The Messenger, don't. But play it anyways because it stands on its own. It's awesome. I went into it expecting it to be tied to The Messenger, and it really wasn't. And that was fine. Didn't bother me at all. It bothered me a little bit, which is why I said it's my only beef. But really minor complaint. Doesn't matter. Not going to cost it any points or anything. We've had some great partners over the years here at Remember the Game, but I don't know if any of them have hit home for me quite like Hometown Hero does. No pun intended. Don't start. It's a transparent, honest cannabis company that helps people and gives back to those that have served their country at the same time. I mean, come on. As soon as I read about these guys, I knew I wanted to work with them. Hometown Hero is a cannabis company out of Austin, Texas, and they were founded back in 2015 by a U.S. veteran. They have two goals: create premium hemp products that can help everyone, and to support veterans by donating a portion of those profits to organizations set up to take care of those who have served. Hometown Hero products are of the highest quality, and everything they offer is made right there in the U.S. of A. Gummies, caramels, chocolates, drink mix. There's something for everyone. And what's more, their hemp is grown locally in Texas, which is something they should and do take a lot of pride in. And they offer certificates of analysis for everything they sell because they want to be clear that their products are as advertised, both in terms of potency and ingredients. No contaminants, you get what you pay for. Just how they conduct business is enough to get my good eyes' attention. But when you circle back to the fact that the company was founded by a veteran and they put such heavy emphasis on supporting veterans, this isn't just lip service. I'm not reading a script I was given here. I'm proud to have Hometown Hero associated with Remember the Game. Reclaim your evening. Visit hometownhero.com and use code RTG to take 20% off your first purchase. That's hometownhero.com, code RTG for 20% off your first purchase. This is an ad by BetterHelp. A band once said, "Work sucks, I know." And I think most people agree with them. Workplace stress is now one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing higher than normal levels of stress from their jobs. And while walking away from your job might not be an option, taking a little time every day to focus on yourself and your mental health can make a huge difference. I know in the summer I try to get outside every day, get a little bit of sun, and just enjoy the outdoors. It really helps. At least until my allergies attack, and then it's ugly. It's important to take steps to combat work stress, and therapy can be a huge one. It's not just for overcoming trauma. Therapy can help you define work goals, set some work boundaries, develop coping skills. It's like a cheat code for life. And if you're thinking, man, I'm too busy for therapy, well, look into BetterHelp. They make therapy as convenient as possible. You can meet with one of their over 30,000 therapists online and on your schedule, just like over 5 million people around the world already have done. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. The gist of the game is you control these two characters, the main two characters, Zale and Val. I think it's pronounced Valir, Valere, Valir. So it's Zale and Valir are the two main characters, and they're solstice warriors. They use the powers of the sun and the moon to cast magic and to power up and all that kind of stuff. And they set out with their childhood friend Garl, not Carl, Garl, which I thought was the stupid. I still think it's a stupid name. But the character is, we'll get into the character later. They set out to fight bad guys. I'm really trying to keep it very vague so I don't ruin anything. They basically set out to stop this character, the Fleshmancer. And that's it. So you have these two solstice warriors that can control the powers of the sun and the moon, and then their friend Garl that has no powers whatsoever. He's just a really nice guy. So I'll break down the combat and everything as we get on into the review here. But that is really the basic gist of the game. I thought the combat never got old. Which is a big problem for me. This is one of my big roadblocks with classic turn-based JRPGs is I get bored of them. Just picking attack. You know, that kind of gets to me. And this game does a great job of throwing in enough little additions, enough spices in the seasoning to keep it interesting without overdoing it. And it borrows some stuff from Mario RPG. It does borrow some stuff from Chrono Trigger. We'll get into the combat and stuff more in a minute, but I never, not one time playing this game did I find myself bored of the combat. And it's very rare in JRPGs that I can say that. And so that is, I think, what put it over the top for me. I love the art style, the graphics. It is a gorgeous game. It pops. It looks awesome. You've already heard the songs. The soundtrack to this game fucking slaps. I liked the story. Not the best story I've ever seen, but it was fine. It was good. A little bit of go here, do this. Go here, save them. They'll give you this, then go back there with it and open the next area. But it was more than adequate. I have no complaints, really, about the story. It was fine. I will say, if you've not played it, I definitely recommend avoiding spoilers as much as possible until you've played through it. There are a couple of big plot points that, if spoiled for you, will definitely take away from your overall enjoyment of the game. One plot point in particular, and if you finished it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't finished it, you shouldn't want to know. You should not want to know what I'm talking about. Just play it, and you'll find it for yourself. Jay Savage wrote into us and said, how many hours is this game? I think the in-game clock for me punched in at about 33, and there were a couple instances where I left it on and walked away for a couple of minutes, or dozed off on the couch or whatever. So I would put myself in about the 30-hour mark, and I didn't do everything, but I did do a lot of things. I didn't... Like, I would guess you're probably knocking on the door of 40 hours to 100% it, depending on whether or not you use a walkthrough. But I probably came in around 30. So it was perfect. I loved it. I love it. Very rare do I marathon a 30-hour game in like 10 days. That's how much I love this game. Every chance I had, I was playing it. Let's get into the combat. I think that's the meat of this game, and I think it's the highlight of this game. But unlike Final Fantasy, or no, pardon me, no. I was going to say, in Final Fantasy 16, I thought the combat was good, but it was the only problem. I actually thought the combat was one of the weaker points of Final Fantasy 16. I thought the combat was the strongest point of Sea of Stars. First and foremost, no random encounters. You know I like that. That's how every RPG ever should be moving forward. No random encounters. I fucking hate them. It's exactly like Chrono Trigger. You see the enemies in the overworld, and you can try to sneak around them. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But at least you know they're coming. If you're getting low on health, you can step back and be like, fuck, there's more enemies up there. I see them. Let me use a spell or eat something or whatever to get some health back first. Big fan of it. Makes exploration more fun. I don't have to worry about constant random encounters popping up on me. And what's really cool is you can even sneak in an attack first, which a little bit later on in the game, you can't do it off the top without spoiling anything, but a little bit later on in the game, you pick up some items and some abilities that can interact with the overworld while you're walking around, and you can actually use that to trigger fights, and that can trigger a bigger advantage, which I'll talk about in a second here. So I won't spoil the extra playable characters that you recruit, I'll stick with just talking about Zale, Valir, and Garl, which are the main three, and that's not spoiling anything. You have them from like the minute one when the game starts. Those are the three you play as, and then you do gain some extra characters as you go on. So what I really like is so when you do touch an enemy on the overworld, there is no like loading screen or anything. It is again just like Chrono Trigger. The enemies take position, your hero your party takes position, and then you just take turns fighting. Then it turns into a turn-based RPG. It does play out in the same way of Chrono, where like if two enemies are close to each other, like Zale, one of his magic spells, because he controls the power of the sun, and it's a spell he starts the game with, no spoiling, is he can build up like a giant fireball in his hand and then throw it at the enemy. And if there's two enemies standing side by side, it'll hit both of them. If they're a little spread more further apart, it'll only hit the main enemy you throw it at, that kind of stuff. So I really like that concept. It also borrows the timed attacks and the time blocking from Mario RPG, which I fucking love as well. So when you go up and just drop like a basic physical attack on an enemy, if you hit the attack button at the right moment, you'll hit them for a second time and do a little bit more damage. And if they're attacking you, you can hit the button at the right moment and block their attack and not take full damage. I'm a huge fan. It's one of my favorite things about Mario RPG, and I'm a huge fan of it in this game because it always keeps me interested in the combat. You don't want to just autopilot, and there's so much more to it, which we'll get to, but you can't just autopilot and just hit attack. Like, it's expecting you to be paying attention and to get those extra attacks and to drop that extra damage and stuff like that. And then it's not just your physical attacks and blocking attacks from the enemy. A lot of your spells are interactive as well. Like I said with Zale, one of his main spells is he charges up a fireball and then throws it at the enemy, and it tells you to hold A for power, and the fireball grows from like tier 1 to size 2 to size 3, a split second in size 4, and then back down to size 3. So you want to hold A and then release it right as the fireball hits its maximum size for maximum damage. If you release it at other times, you'll still use it. It just won't do quite as much damage. Valir, I'm going to call her Valir. She controls the power of the moon. And for my money, she has the most powerful attack in the game called the Moonerang, which she starts the game with right away. And basically, she throws like a boomerang, like a moon, at an enemy, and then it bounces back at you. And then if you can hit the attack button at the right moment, you'll reflect it back at them again. Then it'll come back at you. You reflect it back at them again. And there's a limitless. There's an achievement you can get, or a trophy, or whatever you're playing on, where if you can bounce it back 25 times, which I did do, by the way. It took me a long time to get the timing down for it, but I did get it. So it's really cool because you can go to that attack, and if you're really good at that timing, you can do an insane amount of damage by bouncing this moon back and forth at the enemies like 30 times. It's fucking awesome. When you use a healing spell, if you hit the button at the right time, you'll do more. You'll heal more with that ability. Yeah, I don't want to say anything else. You get the idea. I don't want to say anything else because I don't want to spoil any of the other characters and any of their attacks, but that gives you the idea. So it's very interactive while being a turn-based RPG, and I'm all about it. I think it's the best combat system I've used in a long time in an RPG. I loved it. Brandon DeZeba wrote in and said, I kickstarted this game when it was first announced, and it's definitely at the top of my game of the year list. Beautiful visuals, gorgeous soundtrack, engaging combat, and great story. I loved how they included the relics, which allowed you to customize the difficulty. More RPGs should incorporate that type of system. Yes, agreed. So I didn't find the game very difficult. I will say, like, you know what? I never once died on a boss fight, but I did occasionally die just coming across enemies in the overworld. And it was, if you've played it, you probably know what I'm saying. Every once in a while, you just run into a combination that just feeds you your fucking lunch. It's weird. But yeah, you do pick up relics, and then throughout the game you can find more, and you don't have to equip them. You toggle them on and off. And the only one I played with on the whole game was every time I hit a timed hit or I hit a timed block properly, a star would shoot up, and it would just let me know, because otherwise it can be very difficult to know if you timed it properly. So I recommend using that relic when you start the game, at least, just to get a feeling for the time. Like, I probably could have turned it off toward the end of the game, but I just found it satisfying, so I left it on. But you can turn it on to like make the timed hits for you, to increase the time to the timed hits, all kinds of little things to make the game easier if you want to, which is really, really cool. I really liked that. Another thing that happens in this game is it encourages you to use your magic. And if you've ever heard me talk about RPGs, I am like Scrooge McDuck when it comes to using my magic points or using my items. I never do. I save them for the end, and then I always make the game harder on myself than it has to be because I refuse to just use the shit you give me. This game tells you very early on, use your magic, use your magic, use your magic, use your magic. You actually regain magic points when you land basic attacks. So it's really not punishing you for burning through your MP. It's like, yo, just every time you throw a basic attack, you're going to gain like 3 magic points back. So it's constantly telling you to use your magic, which is awesome. It also has this cool system where all the magic is like elemental. And so what I mean by that is like Zale controls the power of the sun. So his attack magic spells have sun element attached to them. Valier uses the moon, so she's got the moon attached to them. Gale has no magic, but it's not just their magic abilities. It's also like when Zale attacks, he uses a sword, so it does sword damage. When Valier and Gale attack, they use blunt weapons, so it does it uses like a hammer icon, and it uses hammer damage. Some enemies are weak against sword damage. Some enemies are weak against like blunt hammer damage. Some are weak against sun magic. Some are weak against moon magic. And a lot of time, enemies will telegraph that they're going to use a really big attack or their like special move, as it were. And what'll happen is like a roulette wheel will pop up above their head, and it'll show like maybe 2 icons, maybe 7 or 8 icons, and it'll show you how many turns it's going to be before they're going to drop their big attack. And so maybe an enemy will pop up, and it'll have 4 icons above their head, and it'll be 2 moons, a sword, and a hammer. And then a 3 counting down. So like in 3 turns, it's going to unleash its like best attack. But if you can hit it for 2 sword damage, a sun damage, and a hammer damage, the 4 icons on there, you'll erase their you'll cancel their special attack. And if it sounds complicated, I promise it's not when you play it. So it's like, okay, well, Zale, he does sword damage. And if I get the timed hit, I do 2 attacks. So those 2 attacks will take away the 2 sword icons in the 4 wheel of roulette. Either Gale or Valier do the blunt damage, so either one can just hit them, and that'll do the hammer damage that gets rid of that. Remember, I said there was a sun as well. One of the things that happens in this game is as you hit enemies, they drop. It's something that gets unlocked like an hour or 2 into the game. It's not really a spoiler. They drop like magic on the ground, and it just lays there, and you can absorb it with any character you want at any time before your turn. And it'll add like elemental damage to your attack and power it up. So Zale controls the sun. So if I suck up some of that magic off of the ground, then when he attacks, not only will I do sword damage, I'll do sun damage at the same time. And so it becomes strategic. When do you use that? When do you leave it on the ground to save it for canceling these big attacks that the enemies are going to do? And as you unlock new characters, and they might have poison magic or I don't know what the other one is. It's like mystical magic or something like that. It's like a purple puff of smoke. I'm not quite sure what it is. But as you pick up new abilities, the enemies that are attacking you get bigger meters before their special attacks full of more elements. And so then it becomes part of the strategy because you're not just fighting the enemies and trying to win the combat. You're trying to figure out what combination of magic and attacks you can use to get rid of all the elements on the roulette wheel before they'll drop a big attack on you. It's really, really fun. It's, again, all this shit is keeping it from just being boring tap A attack stuff. I'm a big, big fan of the combat system in this game. Plus, early on in the game, you pick up some combos. And then as you land attacks and take damage and do blocked hits and stuff, your combo meter at the side of the screen fills up. And it can fill up to 3 times. Every time it fills up, it like you store like a combo in like a light, and you can get up to 3 lights filled up. And all the different characters in your party throughout the game pick up different combos like Chrono Trigger that they can use, but they cost X amount of those combo lights. So like to me, the most valuable move in the game is early on, Zale and Valier pick up a combination that costs 2 combo lights, which takes a little while to fill up to, but it costs 2 of your combos. And if you use it, they drop a massive healing spell on the whole party. And it's really valuable, but your combos go away at the end of your fight. So what I found myself doing especially later on in the game, was like if I was down to one enemy that didn't have a lot of health left and my combo meter was one charged and one like 80% charged, and I wanted to use that healing combo before I left the fight, because again, your combo meter goes back to 0 at the end of the fight, I would kind of just like tippy-toe around the enemy and try to kill time until I got my combo meter filled up so I could heal and then get rid of it. And again, it's trying to force you to use your magic. It's going to give you your MP back. It's trying to force you to use your combos because they stop at the end of every fight. So it really wants to steer you away from just mashing attack, which I fucking love. I love the combat in this fucking game. And once you get a fourth member in your party, you can swap party members anytime you want, as many times as you want mid-fight. And it's not like, I might be wrong, I haven't played Final Fantasy X in a couple years now, but when you swap your character in Final Fantasy X, I want to say that costs you your turn. Like if you were to swap out like Titus for Yuna, I think that like Yuna comes in, but then she can't do anything. Like that's her turn. You understand what I'm saying? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. In this game, it doesn't. At any time, there is no like order. All three of your party members, because you never have more than 3 party members in fight, have to attack before the other 2 can attack again. But you can pick the order in which they attack. Like you can scroll through your party and be like, okay, I'm going to use Zale now, then I'll use Velier, then I'll use Garl. And then at any time you want, as long as somebody hasn't already attacked, you can swap them out for one of the other members in your party, and then they can attack whatever you want. So you can swap in and out because you want access to different powers. You can swap in and out because maybe someone's just almost dead and you want to swap it to somebody else because they have a full health bar. There's so much little strategy that goes into the fights in this game, and it's so much fun. Fuck me, is it so much fun. Also, when I know I'm really going on, but I think the combat is to me the best part of a great game. When a character gets KO'd, there's no they're not dead. There are Phoenix Downs. Like there are items you can use to revive somebody, but they're not dead. What happens is they'll hit the ground and there's a star going around their head. And maybe they'll have 2 stars floating around their head. Every time everyone's taking a turn, one of the stars disappears, and when all the stars are gone, they wake up and they get back up. But then the next time they get knocked down, they have more stars. And the next time they get knocked down, they have more stars. And so as long as all 3 of your party members don't get knocked out, you're fine. 2 can be knocked out. And as long as the third one can stay alive until some of those stars go away, then they get up. It's perfect. Like it's so, God damn it, I love it. The HP and the MP counters are nice and low, like Super Mario RPG. I'm a big fan of that. I think I finished the game with Valier having like 22 magic points. Like it was, and like nobody had more than like 250 HP. I love it. I love those nice little counters like that. Really fun. And it's weird because again, I found the boss fights easy, but I found the occasional fight against just regular enemies very difficult. By and large, not the hardest game. And like they go out of their way when they're teaching you about the timed hits to say these are optional. You don't need to master them. I'll argue with that a little bit. Maybe if you use relics to offset your inability to use those timed hits, maybe they're not necessary. I'll say from my playthrough, I think I would have been fucked if I didn't get the timed hit counter down. I think I would have been dead because you need those extra hits. If anything, just to stop their big, powerful attacks, you need to land those double attacks and stuff. So anyway, that's the basics of the combat. So much fun. Love it. Fucking love the combat in this game. Inventory system, another plus, nice and simple. Not as simple as Final Fantasy 16, where it's like you have 3 items on one character and that's it, but the inventory is nice and easy. Each party member has 1 weapon and 1 armor that they equip, and then they can equip 2 accessories that can be rotated throughout the team however you want. And the accessories are stuff like gain 15 HP, spells cost less MP, do more damage to undead enemies, stuff like that, so you can mix and match them however you want. And then they have a 5th slot for a golden accessory, and those affect the whole party. And that'll be stuff like you can see the HP of enemies, stuff like that. So nice and simple. I love a nice simple inventory system. The other so that's the equipment system, excuse me. The inventory system is pretty basic as well. You don't get potions and stuff like that in this game. You cook food, and that's what you use to restore your health, is you have to cook food. And as you go throughout the game, you pick up more recipes and you pick up more ingredients, and you can like make a simple like a tomato club, which gives you back, like gives one party member 25 HP. You can build up to stuff where like the entire party gets 200 HP and 12 magic points back or whatever, but you can only carry 10 food items at any given time. So I never found myself running out of food, but it's clearly trying to push you, in my opinion, toward using your magic over relying on items. You can't just go and buy 99 potions and cheese your way through a fight. You're never going to have more than 10 food items. Which, I'm a fan of. Nice and simple. I love a nice, simple inventory system. Big fan of nice, simple inventory systems. As far as leveling up and upgrading your characters, I want to get into that in a minute because that borrows some stuff from Mario RPG as well that I really like. Hot Cheese Sauce wrote in and said, I put quite a few hours into this charming game so far. It reminds me of the Super Nintendo RPGs, which I adore. It's like a mix of Mario RPG's battle system and Chrono Trigger's map and exploration. I love how the characters are written and find myself wanting to learn more about each one. The story is fantastic and no random encounters. You can avoid those bastards if you want, or to murder them. They won't respawn unless you leave the area and go back. I like that too. If I had to put any criticism on it, I feel like the leveling up system is very slow. I think I'm halfway through the game and I'm only level 12. However, even though that number does seem low, in no way do I feel underleveled. And although the music is good, I find it can be a bit repetitive. If you're a fan of those classic turn-based RPGs, this will be a title for you. You do, like, you don't go, it takes a long time to gain a level, but again, I think that plays into like the tiny HP counts, the tiny MP counts. I'm good with that. I don't need to level up every 3 fights. It can take a long time, especially near the end of the game, to level up. I'm good with that. And here's another plus to this game. I'm not only sucking its dick, I'm rimming it too. I fucking love this game. When one member of your party levels up, they all do. You have shared XP. It's not worrying about like, oh, are the members of my party that didn't fight that time getting any XP or not? It doesn't matter. You just have one XP counter, and when you win a fight, all your XP goes to that counter, and when the counter hits 0, everyone on your party gains a level. It is just, I love that fucking system. Oh, and then when they all level up, they come in one at a time, and like if you've played Mario RPG, when a character levels up, you can choose if you want to upgrade their health, their attack, their defense, like the magic attack, stuff like that. This one is the same thing. When a character levels up, they come into the screen and it gives you 4 random categories that you can add a boost to. And it could be HP, it could be physical attacks, it could be physical defense, it could be magic attacks, it could be magic defense, or it could be your magic points. And you can, and it changes every time. It changes every character, and you can just pick whichever one you want to give them an additional boost of. I love it. I love how easy the leveling up. I love how simple they keep it simple, stupid. That is my goddamn like story of my life, and this game does it, and I love it. And then as you go throughout the game, you find scrolls that give you different combos. Occasionally you just get handed different combos that work between different players. Very, very simple system. Big fan of it. The map in this game, Chrono Trigger's map to a T. I thought it was the perfect size. As the game goes on, it gets a little bit bigger. It's never super massive or anything like that. It's a bunch of islands spread throughout water, so a lot of the map is just water, but you unlock different islands as you go on. Early on in the game, it literally, if you've played Chrono Trigger, it is the Chrono Trigger map. Like paths from like town to castle to whatever, and you walk your characters along these paths like really slow. Then when you go in, it expands, and then you get into like a zoomed in area that you can explore, or a temple that you can travel through, or whatever. As the game goes on, without spoiling anything, you do unlock some vehicles that'll help you travel around a lot easier. Early on, it's a lot harder to go from island to island, but once you get these new items and these new modes of transportation, it definitely helps. There's definitely room to explore in this game, but it's not crazy. It's not completely necessary or anything like that. I loved it. I will say when you get into the more tight areas, be it a dungeon, be it like a jungle or an area or whatever, there are some puzzles, a fair amount of puzzles in this game, but they're really not that hard. They're all pretty basic, simple. You look at it for 2 seconds, you're going to figure it out puzzles, but I found them very, very enjoyable. There's also this cool mechanic where you come across these crystals where you can change what time of day it is. So you can have the sun go down, the sun come back up, or whatever, and it changes the way the whole game looks. Like you can watch, like you can tell the sun's rising in the east and setting in the west, the shadows spread, the music changes a little bit like that, and actually that can help you trigger some of the puzzles and stuff like that too. Very, very cool. I really liked it. Definitely encourages you to backtrack toward the end of the game when you've unlocked more abilities to help you interact with the environments and stuff like that. I will say the enemies don't scale, so it can be a little bit tedious to go back to the early areas of the game to explore, because you may run into some fights that are just kind of like going through the motions, one attack fights, but really not a big deal. Again, no random encounters, so I don't have to worry about that. It's nice. Very good. So, good shit. Mini games. This game has an awesome new mini. Well, I don't know if I think it's middle of the road. It's got its own mini game. It's called Wheels. When I say mini game, think of Triple Triad, Blitzball, Gwent, etc. It's you start the game out with 2 figures, and then I think you start with like a knight and a mage. And then as the game goes on, you can pick up like an assassin, you can pick up a mechanic, and they all have different abilities. And basically what happens is you play it on like a table, and each person has 10 health. And then they have the whatever 2 figures they've decided to use, one on one side of their health meter, one on the other side of their health meter. You're across the table from each other. And then every turn, 5 like roulette wheel, or not roulette, like slot machine wheels come up, and you spin all 5 once. And then they may stop on swords, which you can use to build a shield in front of your health meter to stop the enemy from. The enemy will have to break through your shield to get to your health meter. Or it might stop on either an orange symbol or a green symbol, which apply to either the whatever figure you put on the left and the right. Because you can mix it, like you can put your mage on the left, you can put your mage on the right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change what symbol is. One, like the orange symbol is for whatever character's on the left, and the green symbol is for whatever character's on the right. And you get up to 3 spins, and every spin you can decide which wheels you want to lock in and which wheels you want to spin again. And then after 3 spins, you can't see your opponent's wheels, they can't see yours, although I think they can. I think it's rigged. After 3 spins, both players' wheels get exposed, and then all the orange symbols you locked in go to your orange character. All the green symbols you locked in go to the other character. All the swords you locked in apply shield to your health bar. And basically, like, each character has like this weird like pole, like a tower beside them, and every time you, like, I know it sounds it's a hard thing to explain without looking at it. So say my mage is on the orange side, so at the end of the turn, every orange symbol I lock in gets applied to the mage's pole, and when and it ratchets it down. It's like it's screwing it, like it's screwing a screw in, like it goes down, down, down. When it gets all the way screwed in, then my mage will attack with whatever their attack is, and then it goes all the way back up and resets. And that's the long and short of it. And the first team to knock the other team's health down to 0 wins. I really liked it. I didn't love it as much as I did, say, like a Triple Triad or Blitzball. I thought it was a little bit cheap. It's straight up rigged. There's a couple instances. Dude, the first time you fight someone with an assassin, send me a message. You'll fucking know. The assassin fucking sucks. And it just feels like sometimes the computer will just always get the spins they need, and you won't. And that can be a little bit frustrating. But I still really enjoyed it. I like strategy games like that. I thought it was cool. It's a neat little game. I liked it. I liked Wheels. It was cool. In addition to that, there's a fishing mini game. As you go throughout the world, you're going to come across ponds. Zale loves to fish. So then you'll just go there and you just catch the different fish. And it's really basic. You just cast your line. You can see the shadows of the fish in the water. And then once a fish grabs a hold of your line, there'll be like a path lit up in the water through the middle of like from you on the dock to the fish. And as long as the fish is in that path, then you can tap A and reel the fish in. If they go out of that path, you have to try to pull them back in with the analog stick, because if you reel too much when they're out of the path, the line will break. I got the achievement for catching every fish in the game. I thought maybe you'd get like a cool reward. You really don't. Just the achievement, and you catch the fish, and then you can use the fish to make food. But it was still a fun. I like fishing mini games, and it was a good, rock solid fishing mini game. And then there's collectibles you can find throughout the game, which some of them you can trade for items. Some of them, I think, just get applied toward trying to get the better ending at the end of the game, because there are multiple endings. I won't go any further into that because I don't want to spoil it. So lots of little side things if you want to busy yourself with them. All optional if you don't want to worry about it. So the story. I really can't get too into the story without spoiling anything. It's very, very charming. It's a really charming game. The bond between the 3 main characters, Zale, Valir, and Garl, is awesome. I'll be honest, I found Garl a little bit annoying at the start. I know a lot of people wrote in defending Garl and saying how much they loved Garl. He kind of annoyed the shit out of me at the beginning. I thought he was a tag along, and I was like, go away. But you just can't help but fall in love with this guy by the end of the game. He is one of the most charming characters I've ever seen in a video game in my life. He really is. And again, because Zale and Valir are these 2 like super powerful wizard warrior people that are going to save the world. And Garl's just a normal dude that just wants to be their friend and come along and help them. And it goes from him almost being like Mallow, and I'm like, go away, Mallow, to being like, this fucking guy. How do you not love this fucking? Everybody wants a Garl in their life. So it's the game is just it's. Okay, Captain N wrote in and said, after all the hype over the last year, this game delivered, and it did it in a big way. Simple retro-style gameplay and graphics made me feel nostalgic for the SNES days. You can see the influences in this game, and the characters are built up so well. There are some minor quips about the game, but the best part was that it made me want to complete all the endgame side quests to get that ultimate reward. Something so precious that I'd slog over finding those 60 blanks all over again. P.S. I am 100% a Garl fan for life. One of the best surprises of the game was that he was a deeply written character and not just the comic relief that I initially expected him to be. So yeah, and there you go, right? Like I felt the same way. I thought Garl was going to be just kind of stupid comic relief. And then by the end of the game, it was like, no, he's a pretty dope character. He's pretty cool. I will say I did not do all the side quests. I beat the game. And then there's like a thing that tells you how many things you need to do to get the best ending. I think I did 4 of them in my initial playthrough. And I was like, I need to move on with my life. I just looked up the good ending. It was worth it. It's worth looking up. But I didn't bother going back to get anything. At the very beginning of the game, because again, I can't really get into the story. I really can't without ruining anything. But at the very beginning of the game, you find that Zale, Valir, and Garl are kids. And they grew up in this village and they're all friends. And then Zale and Valir have to go off to train to be these solstice warriors. And they go away for a considerable amount of time. Like, it's not a couple of months, it's like years. And Garl is like, well, I'll be here waiting for you guys when you get back, I promise. And it's really like, it's really cool watching their friendship blossom, and they talked about how much they miss Garl, and I hope he's doing okay down there. And it's really, that's all I can say. I can't ruin anything. It's just really charming off the top. And then it continues that throughout. I will say, like in last week's Final Fantasy 16 review, I said I thought the story began awesome, and then I thought it kind of petered out as the game went on and as it ended. I felt the opposite about Sea of Stars. I thought at the beginning it's a little bit, it's a little bit wordy. There are instances where you're like, okay, get to the fucking point. And I thought it was maybe a little bit mediocre for the first half. But then about halfway through the game, shit hits the fan. There's a couple of big twists, and it finishes super strong. So, like, just when you think, like, maybe the combat and the gameplay isn't quite enough to carry it with this story, then the story ratchets up, and you're like, now we've got both. Now we've got something special. It gets really, really good toward the end. It was good. I liked the ending. Really, I found it a little bit confusing on occasion. There's just a lot of moving pieces and a lot of characters, and some characters are switching to, like, names and weird, and there was a couple of moments where I was kind of confused, but never enough that I felt like I was lost or anything like that. So, Lotus wrote in and said, I can't say everything I would want to about how much this game wowed me without spoilers, so I'll just say this. I got to spend the last couple of weeks getting to reconnect with myself from my high school days playing this game. It felt like nostalgia, but came from a brand new game. It brought me to tears several times, and I thank them for that. You know what? I will say, in 39 years, I'm not trying to sound like a tough guy or anything, but I've never cried at a video game. And this one didn't make me cry. It choked me up, though. You know, when you get that you're like, jeez, I'm going to start bawling here. That lump in the throat, I had the lump. And like, with no written words and with no real serious animations, or pardon me, with no spoken words, just written words, no real animations, just these pixel art. It's so well done. And the music plays such a big role in it. Really, it got me. It almost cracked me at one point. Really, really good. There is an alternate ending to the game if you do everything. I did not do that, but the original ending was good. I definitely, if you don't want to go through and do everything, find all the collectibles and stuff you need to do to get the better ending, I cannot recommend enough looking it up once the game is over. It's worth it. I promise it's worth it. Jackson M wrote in and said, I was super excited for this game, even after the delay. The game is great on all levels. The twists and turns that happen as the story goes kept me interested, unlike most RPGs where I kind of lose interest near the end. Me too. Post-game and side quests that led to the true ending closed out the experience most AAA studios wish they could produce. Very well said. Very, very well said. It's one of the, like, and I don't mean this in an insulting way, one of the best indie games I've ever experienced in my life. It's so good. Fuck, what a great game. I think that's everything I can really talk about without spoilers. So as we kind of get into, no spoilers yet, don't worry. But as we get into our closing thoughts, I'll give it a score and everything. We had like 50 or 60 comments this week, and a vast majority of them were just people writing in saying how much they love the game. Sorry if I didn't read you. I can't read all of them. I'm going to bomb through a few, and then I'll tell you what I thought. Dan Harrington said, this game has been such a refreshing blast of old school JRPG nostalgia. Great engaging story, endearing characters, especially Garl, banging soundtrack, and a cool combat system. I definitely say this is going to be a dark horse in the race for a prestigious Blanky, without question. When we get to the Blankies in January, you will hear the word Sea of Stars, I promise. HornetBox69 said, with everything coming out this year, this game was not on my radar. I picked it up after seeing reviews, and I cannot put it down. File this game under the pleasantly surprised category for the Blankies this year. Yeah, well said. I will say okay, so Matt McLean wrote in and said, I bought WrestleQuest, hoping it was going to be everything Sea of Stars was. Leveling up as a team instead of individually should be in every RPG as an option. I've always been interested in the Messenger, and this game helped me move it forward into my backlog for sure. Yeah, I bought WrestleQuest with the intention of playing and reviewing it, and I really didn't like it. It just didn't... I found it very boring. I couldn't get into it at all. And after paying like $40 to buy WrestleQuest, I decided to fire up Sea of Stars that I had for free on Game Pass just to see how I liked it. And I have not looked at WrestleQuest since. Sea of Stars is everything I wanted WrestleQuest to be. Well said. And Phoenix783 said, this is definitely my game of the year right now. The only game I can see beating it is maybe Spider-Man 2. The visuals, the music, the battle music is so addictive. The story, the combat system, this is the absolute love letter to Chrono Trigger and all the other classic JRPGs of the 16-bit era. It is hands down one of the best JRPGs I've ever played. Yeah, top 3 game of the year for me right now, easily. If I'm being honest, like I'm tempted to not take the Mario tax. Like, my only decision is if I give it a 9 or a 10. You know, I'll do it. You heard it here. Rare thing. Here at Remember the Game, I'm perfect 10. I'm dropping the Mario tax. Perfect 10. I don't have any complaints about this game. I will play it again. I loved this game took over my life. I was seeing this game in my dreams because I was playing it so much. And I have no complaints. If I had to give it a game of the year today, I think it would be Sea of Stars. I loved Zelda, and I thought Resident Evil 4 Remake was spectacular. But Zelda was a Breath of the Wild expansion in a lot of ways. And Resident Evil 4 Remake, while great, is a remake of an already great game. Sea of Stars is brand new. And I think it's my game of the... I'll let it simmer. We'll see in January. But perfect 10. Play it. It's on PS Plus. It's on Game Pass. You can get it on every system. I'm begging you. If you like JRPGs, this is a must play. I love this game. Whew. Okay. That's it for the spoiler-free part of the show. I'm only going to throw in a quick 2 or 3 minute spoiler cast like I do at the end of the game here, but I'm going to cue up some music first. So listen, if you want to hear the badass music, I don't blame you. I will play the music, and then I will count you down, so you can still listen to the music before I start the spoilers, all right? I won't just hop right in with like, oh my God, I'll give you another break. So enjoy this music for a quick... I need a drink of water anyway. So enjoy this music. This is the boss fight theme. It's the best theme in the game. And when it stops, I'll count you down and we'll get into some spoilers, all right? Oh my God, it's so good. Every boss fight in this game is so... I hate boss fights. I always talk about how much I hate boss fights. Every boss fight in this game is so good because that music's fucking slapping, and then you're trying to use the strategy of stopping their attacks and everything, and I fucking love this game. Okay, this is your official warning. Spoilers. Spoilers are going to start in about 10 seconds. End the show right now. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow on Game Patch, okay? Last warning, and I'm dropping a big one in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. I feel weird saying it because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. Garl dying was insane. That was so brilliantly done. Fuck me. They do such a great job of making you care about this dumbass and his stupid one eye and his stupid I fight people with lids of stew pots. And you can't help but fall in love with him and how positive he is and how happy he is all the time. And then it's not just that they killed him off, which I think it hit like the way a certain Final Fantasy character's death did. Maybe even harder because I actually like this character and I don't like the one that died in the other game. But like the way he hangs around on the borrowed time, that aspect, and that they all know, like that they tell him like, hey, the second you're not working on what you need to be here for, you will die. So they needed to like take care of him and they were all working together knowing that the faster they get this job done, the faster he dies, but they have to get this job done. I thought it was so brilliant. And then when he died, I was just expecting him to somehow be saved. And it never happened. It never happened. It was so fucking well done. God damn it. I kept expecting him to come back at the end of the game, like you'd be able to use him to fight the final boss or something, and it never happened. I was so shocked. That's the moment where this game went from an 8 to a 10 for me, because now the story's got me too. Everything else already had me. Now the story's got me too. Brilliant. And if you're sad about Garl dying, look up the alternate ending. There you go. I will say, one complaint I have, I want to get into the other party members quickly because I didn't want to talk about them in the review. I wish Zale and Valir had a little bit more personality individually. Like, I know that Zale is the guy with the sword that controls the sun, and I know that Valir is the girl with the cool-ass moon boomerang that controls the moon, and that's great. But, like, who are those two... Erlina and Brugives, the two Solstice warriors that are kind of like mentors to Zale and Valir, they had a lot of personality. Like Brugives was like a nice guy who loved hanging out with the kids, didn't want to hurt anybody, but didn't want to be the Solstice warrior. Whereas Erlina, we know how that fucking played out. And I'm not saying I wanted like Valir to turn bad or anything, but if I had a complaint about the story, I wish they had a little bit more. They were very interchangeable. And I wish they had a little bit more personality. They were both just like, we sure love Garl and we're going to save the world. Like there was really nothing setting them apart from each other, but not a big deal. I was also shocked that the final villain of the game didn't end up being the Fleshmancer. But I actually thought that was kind of neat because the way I understood it was the Fleshmancer has they've created all these alternate timelines and all these alternate dimensions and everything. And that's why we have the messenger. It's happening in a different timeline than this game. I think that's how I interpreted it anyways. So I guess if you kill him off, maybe you kill off the whole franchise, which I get. Because now they can make a third game and say it's related to these two somehow, but have nothing to really do with them just like that if they wanted to. But I did think the idea that Erlina, who basically sold out and went evil, was the final boss, is that weird-ass demon version of herself, was very cool. I thought the heel turn from her and Brugives was awesome. That was the second twist that didn't hit as hard as Garl dying, but I also thought it was really cool. And I also liked that Brugives didn't really want to do it. Like, he was like, I'll help you, but I don't want to have to hurt anybody after. Like, I thought I really liked that they set that up, you know? And I know they're teasing throughout the game that Brugives and what was her name? Erlina didn't want to be Solstice Warriors and didn't like the concept of it and everything, but I didn't expect them to totally go bad. So I really enjoyed that surprise as well. I thought that was cool. The other three playable characters I wanted to quickly talk about. Sarai, I'm going with Sarai, was my favorite character in the game. Like, I know Garl's charming and everything. I thought Sarai was fucking rad. I just thought she's so, like, she's this pirate, and then she's got these portals she can walk through, and then she joins the team, and you all know that she's the pirate, but she doesn't say it for a while, and then she finally admits it. And then it's even cooler when you get into, like, the dark world or the dimension or whatever the fuck it is, and then you find out that she's, like, part cyborg, and she came from that place to like get the Solstice Warriors because she needed their help to stop it and save all the people that have been getting experimented on and turned into these cyborgs and things. And then she takes off that face covering and her fucking bottom half of her face is like the bad guy from Terminator, and it was just, oh my god, she's so cool. Plus she's got the coolest attack in the game where she jumps through the portals and throws the poison darts, and as she's coming up in the air she's like striking all these dope poses and stuff, and I thought she was the best character in the game. She's so cool. Fuck, she's my favorite. She needs her own game. She's so awesome. The other two characters that join your team, they're neat. Like, Rishon was a twist I didn't see coming, that I don't even know if it's he or she, they, I don't know, but that Rashawn was like the bookkeeper telling the story, and then you walk into that room and the chair turns around and boom, and then the Rashawn's like, I'll join you and I'll be part of the team, but I can only help sometimes. I have a deal with the Fleshmancer, and at times I can't get involved. I have to just watch. And I thought that was neat. I thought it was a little bit lame that Rashawn left the party and you had the dummy version of Rashawn instead, but whatever, not a big deal. I will say, I didn't use Rashawn very much. I had a very difficult time getting the timing down for Rashawn's timed attacks. That was the one I missed the most. I just could not for the life of me figure out the timing of those attacks. And then Bist, is that how you say it? B-S-T? Bist? I thought that was kind of a cool character, like a soul that like gets trapped in this glass body that can like change to different things. And I love the animations of Bist when you're out walking around in the world, like it could turn into a wheel to roll on like tight ropes and stuff like that. I really, really thought that was cool. So I liked the characters. Like the problem with Bist is like not in most, but in a lot of in RPGs, when you get that party member right near the end of the game, it's just so hard to have the same connection to them. And that was how I felt about Bist. It was just like, cool, we got a new party member, but you kind of just feel like a replacement for Garl. Do you know what I'm saying? Not bad though. I like all the characters. Not one I didn't like. I like all the characters. I also love that a big part of this game revolves around baking a giant loaf of bread to wake up a dragon. I kept expecting there to be like a twist. And it was just like, no. Garl's like, everybody loves the smell of bread. We're just going to make bread and the dragon will smell bread and it'll wake up. And that'll get it worked. I thought that was fucking hilarious. So I think I'm good. I don't really know what else there is to say. It's just what a special game, man. 10 out of 10. I really, really, really loved this game. And I will do a replay of it at some point down the road. When the backlog from hell is dead, maybe when I'm retired, I'll find time to play it again. And I'm sure I'll enjoy it as much the second time as I did the first time. And Sabotage Studios has a fan in me. Whatever they put out next, day one play for me. I don't care. After The Messenger and this, whatever you put out, I'll play it. Well done. So thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you made it to the end of this. If you did, I hope that you were ready to have stuff spoiled for you. Feel free to DM me on Patreon if you want to talk more about the game. I'm happy to. And I'm going to get out of here and take Molly to the groomer because she's got a haircut appointment in half an hour. So take it easy, everybody. And I'll talk to you tomorrow for Game Patch. All right? Enjoy the Nintendo Direct tomorrow morning. Hopefully it's good. Fuck yeah. Talk to y'all tomorrow, everybody. Cheers. My God, Sea of Stars is so good. Play that game. Play that game. Thank you so much for listening to the show. I hope you enjoyed this free episode of Expansion Pass. Again, check us out at patreon.com/rememberthegame to see what all is waiting for you in our bonus podcast archive. There's over 600 episodes waiting for you over there, all ad-free. Listen to them on Spotify or wherever the fuck you want. And not only that, but when you sign up for us on Patreon, you get to join our nearly 2,000 member Discord. You get to write into the shows. You get to help pick the games we play and cover, a whole bunch more. It's pretty well the best deal in the history of the internet. Thanks again for all of your understanding regarding the missing episode each month. I think this is really going to help the podcast moving forward. And assuming nothing goes catastrophically wrong, we will be back next week with Remember the Game 296, My Beautiful Joe review. And before any of you are like, oh my God, I know he hates it because it's too hard. I don't. I fucking love it. It is too hard, but it's not too hard for everybody. It's just too hard for me because I suck at video games. But it is going to get a very good review from me. I quite enjoy that game. So that's coming next week, and then we're onward and upward on our way to 300. Thanks again for the support, everybody, and I will talk to you later. Cheers, so long, goodbye.